Welcome everyone to season 3 of the Knockouts, episode 8. This, I believe, in my opinion, is the matchup of the season. You got Sinestro versus Green Lantern. This is going to be an awesome matchup. This, for the first time, in my opinion, is going to be truly where it's strategy, fighting style, the personality of the character, not just that they can fly, they have a lot of power, or anything. This will truly be what the character can do, because this is, at one time, both of these characters were considered the greatest Green Lantern of all. And then you got Sinestro, who basically fell and became a Yellow Lantern. Hal, who became Parallax. So you got a whole complicated story with these two characters. So I'm not going to argue their points for them. I'm going to bring these two gentlemen in. So please welcome the man who I've known longer, who's arguing for Sinestro, Southern Comic Geek. Welcome, man. How's it going?
Hey, it's going great. Hopefully we have an unbiased crew here tonight. If we have too much propaganda up in this place that is against this guy right here, then we're going to have to push you out of the chat, food. Not calling you names.
And the guy who has the great honor or burden, as you might consider it, for arguing for Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, Tim, the comic collector. Welcome, man. How's it going?
What's up? Thank you for having me. Since this is a battle between two lanterns, I would like to start this off really quick with the Green Lantern oath. So, in brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern's light.
Awesome.
And, Southern, since you're arguing for Sinestro, if you would like to do the Sinestro court oath real quick, feel free.
Since I don't have the ring,
I'll
save that for later.
Yeah, well, maybe old man Hal here, a Green Lantern fan, could fill it in for you, since he's a fellow Green Lantern fan. He might know it. Well, so welcome everyone. As usual, everyone knows the rules. There is one official challenge per person. It might be complicated this time because these characters literally have so much history, and they literally exist in the same universe. Not to mention only the same universe, but the same comic book in a sense. So it'd be kind of hard to argue that's not fair against the other person. Who knows? Or it could work very well. So I look forward to the matchup in any case. So, Southern, since you arrived first, do you want to open your statement or closing?
I'd rather close.
All right. So, like I said, we have an idea of when I want to do this thing, since I had stuff come up. So better get the party started here. So, if we can, like I said, no more than possibly like a 3-minute intro per each. We can save the meat of your argument per the actual discussion rather than throw it all in. So, go ahead, Tim. Take it away with why Hal Jordan has this in hand.
Yeah, Hal Jordan, the thing about him, and probably the defining characteristic that separates him from Sinestro, is Hal is truly fearless. Sinestro does exhibit fear. And what makes all of these rings work, because these are two different rings we need to keep in mind that are powered by two different emotional spectrums. Willpower is in the middle. It is the most balanced. It's the ring that affects the user the least, the green ring that Hal has. The farther you get away from green, it actually starts to affect the host, the person wearing the ring. So keeping that in mind, yellow, fear, does affect Sinestro. And just talking about Hal for a little bit here, why Hal is so good. Everything the green ring uses is based on will. This is a person who literally willed a ring into existence on his own, something that takes the Guardians of the Universe together to do. Not only that, he once powered up so much he turned into a being of pure will, to the fact that even Sinestro himself told Hal, you need to stop, like this is going too far. Hal just exceeded power even beyond Sinestro's imagining with this, will-based weapon. I might save a little bit of the meat of things Hal has done, not necessarily against Sinestro, although we do have a pretty heavy history between the two. I'm not going to get into that, but it is decidedly in Hal's favor. I think this should be an argument really based on who they are as a person, their defining characteristics, and why does Hal consistently win? And well, maybe a little bit. My next argument, I'll explain some of the other great feats Hal has done, outside of battling other lanterns. But I think that's good enough for my opening statement.
Awesome. And what is the Sinestro Corps' response?
Well, I would encourage everybody that's in the chat to not just vote with your heart, because your heart can lead you astray. Vote with your mind. I think that everybody here would agree that we, in a world of chaos, need a lot more order to that. And I will simply add to his response a while ago that, while Hal made a ring, I think that Sinestro built the Corps. So not the Green Lantern Corps, but the Sinestro Corps. So and controlled it with an iron fist. Just saying. Now, I think this is going to be a good fight, very evenly matched, well-willed, and friends at times, enemies at others, match up tonight. So let's see what would happen.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to it. And anybody in there like Old Man Hal and Comic Fu, you guys are the experts in Green Lantern, and Sinestro, so feel free to help direct the discussion with questions or things that the other one of our two guests should answer. Help us have a more fruitful and good discussion. So, I don't know, where do we start off? Who has since I go with what I had to say, who has the better tactical mind in all this? Who if this was a matter of pure fight with brains, who has the better fighting method or a way
Sinestro.
Yeah, I would definitely say planning something out would go to Sinestro, but that's also his weakness as well. One of Sinestro's big weaknesses, like Southern mentioned, is order. He's very narrow-minded in what he believes is right, and that's ultimately his downfall. He keeps trying to do the same thing over and over, where as opposed to Hal, with his creativity, not just in battling Sinestro, but in all the people he encounters with the Justice League, has to constantly think on his feet, which really is a defining trait of a Green Lantern, to be creative. That really helps him out. So,
well, the key difference between both lanterns is fear or willpower and fear, and because I remember, the Green in the comic books, I keep on seeing that the ring senses you have the ability to overcome great fear. So it almost imagines that Sinestro wouldn't be able to affect Green Lantern as much. So how is fear gonna play versus will, since you have willpower to overcome fear? Southern, if you understand my question at all,
Maybe.
If not, feel free to bullet.
Okay, well, we'll do that. So, I think that everybody has fear of something. Even Sinestro, well, especially Sinestro, since he's able to use the fear. But no matter how rough the exterior is, everybody's fears something. And I feel like for that reason, some people maybe on the rougher side of things, like Mongol or the Cyborg Superman, who have been part of the Sinestro Corps, have been a part, but the ends justify the means. So
do you have some evidence you want me to bring up or show in a video to get the discussion started, whatever, or point to argue?
So is this the point that we're making our case before our closing arguments?
Yeah, this is the whole discussion.
Okay, great. So
Comic Fu says, how can we trust Sinestro to impose proper order if he can't even maintain order in his own household? His daughter hates him.
Fantastic, Comic Fu. I'm glad you brought that up. Matt, if you could play that video, I think it eloquently puts some points that we want to drive home. So if you'll just move over to minute 5.
Which is right about here. And you want to do about 2 minutes, you said?
Minute 5 to 7.
All right.
That's a little early in there, if I'm looking at that red line right.
Well, it's at minute 5 here, so.
Oh, okay.
We'll just put it back.
More popularly, the Sinestro Corps. That's right, dude created his own corps that is based in fear. Literally, the whole point of the Sinestro Corps is to instill fear. They're essentially the evil equivalent of the Green Lantern Corps, the reverse Flash to Flash, if you will. Now, I'm sure you guys are familiar with Mongol, the Superman villain who's considered a Superman-level threat. Well, Sinestro has beat the crap out of him on more than one occasion. Most notably, the time Mongol tried to take over the Sinestro Corps. But he didn't know that Sinestro installed safeguards in all of the Yellow Lantern rings to ensure his leadership, at which point he had yellow light stab him all throughout his body. Then, you have the time he just called upon the power of his entire Sinestro Corps to kill the Pale Bishop, who is an undead guardian of the universe, meaning he possesses near omnipotent power. But easy stuff, just super easy. Speaking of easy,
just let me know when you're done.
Let's just pause that. And so I think that later on in the video, it talks about parallax, which I'm sure at some point that Tim was going to bring this up. So let me just go ahead and get this out in the open about the breaking of Sinestro's neck, which was later revealed to be a light construct and not Sinestro, I believe. So, the point being that parallax took over Hal to the point to where he went super nutso for, I guess, a decade. He was that way until they rebooted New 52, I guess. But anyways, he took Hal over, but there have been times where Sinestro has controlled parallax, so not the other way around. So I think that that's a point that I want to make, that one, yes, he broke a light construct's neck, not the real Sinestro, and that two, Sinestro is powerful enough to control parallax. Obviously, Hal Jordan was not. So,
okay. What is your response to that, Tim?
Yeah, back before the Lanterns were even aware of the existence of the emotional entities, and probably the greatest turmoil Hal ever experienced, Coast City being wiped out, the one time in comics that it was ever confirmed he felt fear, Parallax did manage to take control of him. Mm-hmm. But I mean, later on, since we've known about the emotional entities, Hal's literally battled all of them at once. He's battled the Guardians, who are super powerful on their own, possessed by these entities, and beaten them. In fact, killed an evil Guardian while possessed by an entity. So, I mean, yeah, he got caught by surprise way back in the day, but
he's even to help you out in your discussion, he's even worn a Yellow Lantern ring at a point in the comics, so he's wielded
Sinestro's wore a Green Lantern ring, so I mean it goes both ways.
Yeah, certain lanterns can't handle certain things, but Hal could handle different. He understands the emotional spectrum enough to use pretty much any ring. Don't want to say every ring, but pretty much any ring.
Yeah. Okay. Southern, any other points you want to add, or just counterpoint to that?
Yeah. So Sinestro has also pushed his ring to the point of breaking more than once, something that Hal said he didn't know was possible, which speaks again to Sinestro's willpower. So like Hal, he can utilize at least those two spectrums.
I think there's a big difference. Hal, like when I just mentioned, killed a Guardian, he actually had to override the Green Lantern ring's safety, which is something the Guardians created. On the other hand, such as Sinestro overpowering his ring or going past its safe limits, Sinestro actually designed these rings. He designed them to work in his favor. So him doing things that he designed his own rings to do isn't quite as impressive as Hal literally using his willpower to do something he didn't even know was possible until he did it.
Yeah. So I guess one question I want to ask: if this fight was happening now, is this going to happen before or after the Sinestro Core War? If you guys were meeting, if these two characters were meeting up, which would you think it'd meet up before or after? Because the point I'm going to make with that is I do know from the Sinestro Core War that the Guardians basically rewrote the Book of Oa to where now the Green Lanterns can kill. Before that, they couldn't kill. So if Sinestro was meeting Green Lantern beforehand, Sinestro could kill. Hal couldn't, but afterwards they could both kill each other and win the fight.
Honestly, as far as Hal versus Sinestro, I didn't really want to get into the versus each other, but after that, he's beaten Sinestro multiple ways. Before that, going back to the Silver Age and an arm wrestling contest of yellow versus green using constructs. Way back before then, when there was a yellow impurity in the ring still, he beat Sinestro. So, I mean, Hal versus Sinestro it's a mute point, like, you know.
Maybe.
But I just want to mention some stuff for Hal, sort of talking about who he is, not just him versus Sinestro. Hal's a person who's beat single-handedly a Mazo android that has powers of Superman, Flash, Wonder Woman, Batman, and Green Lantern. He's beaten Zod, a Kryptonian, in combat while Zod was on a planet with 2 suns. He once caught up to the Flash and entered the Speed Force just using just his willpower while Flash was possessed by Parallax. And he also beat, let me check my notes. I always forget this vampire's name. Mandrak, the multiverse vampire in Final Crisis. Yeah. That's just some of the things he's done on his own. The way I think of Sinestro and Hal is Sinestro is constantly stuck in this struggle to try and impose his order on the universe, while Hal is just doing his job and constantly facing new and advanced threats and beating these people in new and creative ways. You know, I mean, constantly evolving as a hero. Sinestro hasn't evolved since he was created. He's the same character. You know, he even creates his own core, still trying to accomplish what he couldn't do by himself, and still can't beat Hal with his whole core. You know.
Interesting. What other things does Sinestro himself bring to this matchup, Southern? You know, he seems to me a character, you know, who has some traits that Hal doesn't. You know, or maybe he does. He has slightly more in a sense because he's very intelligent and strategical, but he also has this contempt for authority, which leads him to basically plan 5 steps ahead of his opponent and by himself, so that way he's not weighed down by other people. He seems to be able to handle things by himself. Hal seems to have more of the core behind him than Sinestro would have the core behind him.
Well, yeah, Hal and Sinestro are 2 different leaders, but I would argue that Hal has a problem with authority going to the Guardians a lot of times. So
yeah,
it's just a willpower thing, right? But, you know, I think that what you were saying was right. I think he exhibits more intelligence. I feel like he's more strategic. And there is a finer focus to what he does. And we can argue whether that's good or bad, you know, but I think Tim recognizes this book right here, Green Lantern 20. It's a nice little wraparound cover there. And so
the conclusion to the most epic run on Green Lantern ever, Jeff Johns.
Yep. It's also the first appearance of Jessica Cruz, which we're not talking about tonight. But, but a character I've been specking on. So, of course, in dealing with the first Lantern, you remember how that played out, Tim?
Mm-hmm.
Who killed the first Lantern?
I think Sinestro killed him after Hal defeated him.
I think Sinestro beat him down. Hal took him from there, and then I think Necron actually killed him, if I remember correctly. But the point being is that Sinestro is very powerful and willing to do what it takes. Foo, are we going to throw you out of this chat?
Now.
I know Fu actually read that today, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt, do you have a picture, as an aside, do you have a picture that you might want to show, the people in the chat? I think it confirms what we feared and talking about fear.
We definitely know who Fu is voting for by if I can bring it up there. Hold on, I think I need to continue talking. I think I'm not sure if I have.
But talking about fear, furries everywhere fear this man. And we thought he really ought to be a Yellow Lantern because he instills fear into the hearts of furries everywhere. But this was just a moniker, but we found out that indeed it was true.
I'm having trouble.
Pictures that
I'm having trouble bringing it up.
So. I'll say he was harassing me with today. But
oh, there it is.
There he is. The green furry.
Well, to be fair, I think there was a furry character named Chip in the Green Lantern Corps, so this could be him. So Sin tried to take him down and failed. Then Hal showed up as a Black Lantern and sucked out the life of the first Lantern, giving Necron a chance to kill the first Lantern as Sinestro chained him down.
It's sort of interesting.
I don't know that that's much different than what I said, Fu.
How Hal even became a Black Lantern there really shows a difference between them. They were trapped in I don't know how you would describe it. They were basically trapped in the death world, but not dead yet, and were under attack, and showing the sort of straight thinking that Sinestro has compared to Hal. Hal just immediately killed himself to gain a Black Lantern ring to take control of the Black Lanterns and all the death that was attacking them. It just shows his creativity.
Propaganda, Green Lantern propaganda. Nothing more, nothing less. Move along, people.
So yeah, for those who are going to be listening on the podcast in the future, Sinestro got his butt kicked by First Lantern. Hal saved him by showing up when he did. So,
and he pretty much saved him from the death world too by turning into a Black Lantern.
I don't know. This seems to me, like I said, Sinestro is Hal has the power, definitely has the power, but I see Sinestro as, like I said, Sinestro definitely has, I think, slightly more over Hal in being able to outthink. Hal has to work that much harder. Sinestro, being who he is, would be attacking first. Hal would basically has to be on his guard, or has to be able to survive the first blow and first contact. Because I don't think Sinestro is going to wait around for Hal to take him out.
You're describing a Green Lantern book. It's basically Sinestro spends months planning and building an army, devises an awesome plan, and then Hal's just like, I'll snap my own neck and win this. Like, it don't matter. Like, Hal just beats him.
Yeah.
True that. Right. True that.
So, got any other points, Tim? You said that Comic Fu was feeding you all this info because you had so much writing on Team Green Lantern.
It was a lot of instances that Hal's beat Sinestro. And just for me, like, if we go with that, well, I mean, it's obvious. Like, Hal always beats Sinestro, but I really, for my closing arguments, want to dive deep into why I think, like, let's say that history isn't there. Why does Hal still beat Sinestro? Like, if this is the first time they fight, you know what I'm saying? Why does Hal win this time like he does in the comics? So that's what I really want to focus on there.
Okay. Southern, anything else? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Propaganda, answering clues. Yes, this is a lot of fun here. So I definitely look forward to how this voting how this voting turns out. This is definitely going to be a popular matchup for sure.
Yeah. Sinestro is a great character, if not for the flaws that I'm going to mention. You know,
Yeah, right. Well, Fu,
he's open-minded.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
that's like me. That's like me saying with only one kid, I don't know which is my favorite. They all know which direction you're going.
Pooh's voted, his wife's voted, his kids voted. Yeah, so we already know, Pooh. We already know.
Well, I guarantee if it was any Lantern but Jordan, Food be arguing for Sinestro right now. Jordan's just his man.
Possibly, I did put down the Green Lantern, as a position in the beginning and left it up to whoever chose to choose, and you chose Hal Jordan. So
yeah, I don't know if Kyle Rayner is not an overall better Green Lantern, really.
Well, in my opinion, Kyle is, but I don't think if you're trying to win on a show like this, you don't pick Kyle because a lot of people don't. Everyone knows Hal, so because Kyle's the only one that mastered the entire spectrum. He mastered every color and become a White Lantern.
Vote for Kyle. Yeah. His girlfriend ended up in a fridge.
Hey, I seen an internet meme the other day, by the way, on that, and it showed this guy dressed up as Green Lantern, and then it showed this woman dressed up in a refrigerator, and her head was in the top part, the freezer part.
I think if it was right now, Sinestro would beat Kyle because Kyle gave up the white ring, but during his white ring period, I don't think anybody could have beat him.
Yeah.
What if Kyle was Ion at the time, the entity of the Green Lantern Corps? So he's powerful.
I don't know because they didn't know as much about the entities back then. Like I think he just thought he was like becoming a god or something at the time. So I don't know. Like if he became Ion again, I'd probably say he could beat Sinestro, but not the first time.
Yeah. So, hey, Life, how's it going? And I do agree with Guy versus Sinestro. I've seen a lot of stuff about talking about Guy Gardner, and while I think the character is the biggest dick one of the biggest dicks I've ever seen.
How many dicks have you seen?
Well,
one every time I go.
I'd like to see Guy versus Sinestro with the old antimatter ring, not a Sinestro core ring. That'd be interesting.
But so don't get me started on the number of times Hal had to save Kyle or when Kyle dropped his
Hey, the core sticks together. Let's not start arguing Hal versus Kyle.
Yes, please, everyone. I am 5 away from hitting 600 subscribers. So if you're not subbed me up, what the heck? By now. So let's see. White Lantern Kyle would win. Dropping the ring isn't the best move. Yeah, it's kind of like throwing at the person. Guy versus Arkillo.
Yeah.
Cool. Yep. All right, so we have about 10 minutes left before I want to do our conclusions. Do we have any final points you guys want to argue?
No, I'd just rather speak to those in the closing minutes.
Yeah, I just have my closing.
All right, then let's go ahead and do that. So we'll move to closing arguments, and Tim, you take. All right, because I started with you and went to you. Yeah, so you get to have the first closing argument for why Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, is truly the greatest of them all and would win this fight.
Yeah, so like I said, you take the history out of the way, and this is, let's just say current Hal versus current Sinestro. And I've alluded to a lot of these points, but Sinestro, he has fear in him. He has a ring that is a little bit off center that's going to mess with him a little bit. It's not centered like willpower. It is fear. Not only that ring's power relies on fear in the opponent to be the most effective, whereas opposed to willpower, it's all up to the user. And the thing about Hal is you could almost say it's like a dumb dog in a way. Like he just puts his head down and he just has that endless reserve of willpower. It does not matter what's going on. It doesn't matter what the stakes are. He wants to win at all costs. And like I said, he literally has turned himself into a being of willpower when he didn't even have a ring available to him. He had to create his own ring and then turned into willpower. This is just a guy of endless creativity and bounds. Whereas opposed to Sinestro, from his downfall, it's all about what he thinks is right. His way is right. his way is order. Nothing else could be order. And he just keeps doing the same things just on a grander scale. When he can't beat Hal or the Guardians or impose his order himself, he creates a Sinestro core to help him do it. And he still can't get what he wants because he can't change the way he thinks. He doesn't evolve as a character. And that's a huge downfall. That's why he has to rely on a weaker power source like fear. That's why he doesn't have true comrades. If you really study out that ring, he could blow up his own people, all this different stuff. And when it comes down to a fight, this is a guy that is brainwashed that he's right, and he has that fear in him, and against a bulldog of just endless willpower like Hal, he just is never going to win. It's just not going to happen. I mean, he'd be hard-pressed to find anybody, Superman, like we just mentioned, Zod with 2 sons. Even a Superman can't stand in the way, and even a Flash can't run fast enough. Like Hal is just an unstoppable force, where Sinestro is just stuck in the old ways, never learning, never evolving.
Okay. Well, that was a great final statement from our Green Lantern. All right, Southern, what is Sinestro's last word?
So, something commonly used by Tim to describe Hal was an unstoppable dog, maybe akin to a bull in a china shop, maybe. And so you got to ask yourself, does that always work? Would it be good to just loose a dog or a bull inside of a china shop just to break everything in there? Listen, dealing and wanting your friends is one thing. Wanting your leaders is another. When you want a leader, you want somebody that's very decisive, that knows where they're going, knows how to get there, is very strategic in their planning. That's where you get Sinestro. I would argue that Sinestro has been proved right many times, going back to the Guardians, that the Guardians are little blue douches. And that, so you can't necessarily trust them either. Okay. So wanting order, people would argue that go to the extreme to make that happen, or whether or not the version of order that Sinestro has in his mind is the order that should be. Yes, we can make that argument as well. But I feel like overall, that given the right rider, Sinestro is going to win every time. Because ultimately, that's what that's what Stan Lee said. They said, who wins on a fight? And said, look, it depends on the rider as to who wins the fight. And generally, the hero always wins.
This is just truly a bad matchup for Sinestro. If it was any, a good chunk of the DC universe other than Hal Jordan, I wouldn't pick against Sinestro. Sinestro is really, I'll give him props. He's a great character, one of my top 2 favorite villains, but against Hal, honestly, no.
Yeah.
You can't.
The vote, the chat, the link to the vote is in the chat and in the description. Vote away. So this was definitely a very, like I said, interesting matchup. This reminds me of the Man of Steel when Superman versus Zod and all that, and they're just all over the place fighting and all that. And then Zod's, you love these people so much you can mourn for them, and he's starting to shoot his eye beams at the family, and the only thing that could stop him was literally to snap his neck. That's why I like that Superman more than the Boy Scout of the comic books, is that was a realistic Superman. No one's that good in life.
Hey, Rock, you can still vote for me, man.
If it was Guy Gardner, I would be on your side. So then
Can you vote for me, dude?
Like I said, it's the worst. It's the worst matchup for Sinestro. Almost any other Lantern, almost any other DC character.
Oh yeah,
Sinestro is awesome.
Because you're talking about in any given day, you're talking about 50-50, 51-49. You're talking about a very close matchup any day.
All right, so I'm gonna keep the chat up for a little bit longer.
Which is interesting, Matt, because in the past you've gotten matchups where it was just like somebody that was like OP versus No chance at all.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
Well,
you could argue as much as Hal's beat Sinestro, there's nobody that knows him better that has a better chance to eventually, you know.
exactly. I mean, that's why I started doing in season 2 and season 3 here, the whole spin the wheel matchup, is because I chose this is a great matchup between these two characters in the first round. And then, okay, round 2, Superman, Thor versus the Punisher.
hey, Bishop versus Thor.
You know, but at least this way, if it was Thor versus the Punisher, when it was a wheel selector, you got screwed by the wheel. You know, and it wasn't me putting it together going, well, I thought the first round was a great matchup. I didn't think about what the second round would look like.
Yeah.
So, all right. I am going to get the screen over there. So if you haven't voted yet, get that vote in. Because once I hit the results button, voting is over unless there's a tie. So let's see. Bring up the straw poll. All right. Got it in the screen, I think. Let me get back there. All right. So here we go. The results in 3, 2, 1. Green Lantern has 18 votes. Sinestro got 9. The Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, won by 2-1 vote. So
it's rigged. I don't believe this election. Totally false. Fakery.
Necron stuffed the ballot box.
Exactly. Yeah.
Total million ballots.
Well, it was definitely a very good episode, guys. Very good. So yeah, if I had to guess, I was gonna guess that Green Lantern would win because hero trumps villain in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
But it was definitely very good. So, but Southern, I want to get you back at some point in the season here for an exhibition matchup of Sinestro versus somebody. I don't want this to be the last time we have Sinestro in here. So if you can think of a good matchup,
maybe one of the other lanterns, even.
Yeah,
not
possibly
necessarily just the Green Lantern, Red Lanterns, any of them. Yeah.
We should get Fu to pick a different lantern and see if his knowledge could beat Sinestro
Fu,
with it.
You know, that way you can give more furry lingerie pictures to Southern. You know, and I do. You know, that would definitely be a be a sight. So congratulations again to Tim the Comic Collector for Hal Jordan's win. You move forward to round 2. I believe. Let's see who if you know your opponent yet. You will be going up against was Jean Grey Phoenix, I believe, was who won. Yeah. So your opponent is Jean Grey Phoenix for Green Lantern. Oh.
Oh, he wants more. Oh no! Now he's gonna send me more pics. Don't Brett Favre me, man. Don't Brett Favre me.
Yeah, that was cool. So let's see. They truly had it out in Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps too, and Sinestro was shocked at how powerful Hal had become. Yep. So yep. If we get another Phoenix, you're toast, Comic Collector. LOL. So.
I'm gonna enjoy this victory while I can.
Yeah. So,
hold up now.
So Fu, I think Tim needs some more notes.
Hold up. I gotta show these pictures.
Okay. Let's see if I can get you.
This is not for kids under the age of, I don't know, 13. Yeah. What is it? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
This is funny.
Yeah. So congratulations. Yeah. Let's see the
pictures. If there was ever a doubt of what Fu does in his spare time.
That's his girlfriend, huh? The cat.
This is Wonderful.
The Stormtrooper furry Wonder Woman. Wow.
And
Fu, I think your kids want to play some games once in a while instead of you having a photo session.
Yeah, what are you doing? Setting up my furry.
Oh wow! So again,
that's one way to make sure your kids don't mess around in your collectibles room.
It's like
I went in to say hi to Dad one time, and now going back in again.
Oh, what was your dad and your mom in there? No, my dad and this furry.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, this was a lot of fun. So thank you everyone who voted, everyone watching. I hope you guys continue to go for the next going forward and all that to support Green Lantern and the other characters moving forward. Tim, I look forward to your next matchup, and as Rocket City, I believe was said, good luck.
First and maybe only win in the knockout.
Hey, you had more round. You probably had more luck than me. My record was 50-50. You know.
He said, "I work here." You know.
That's why I'm now a host, and I prefer to host. Hosts can't lose.
True.
So, yeah, furry risk. All right. So, yeah, nothing else to further add. Check out either of these two channels. Sub up both of these guys. They are great. And sub me up while you're at it too. If you're interested in Green Lantern, which I hope if you voted, there is an interview I did not long ago with Comic Fu over here. And we talked like over an hour, probably an hour and a half about Green Lantern himself. And a lot of it was Hal Jordan related. So we did talk more about
big shock.
Yeah. So if you want to know more about Green Lantern, look at my my YouTube channel and find that interview with Fu called "In Brightest Day and Blackest Night." So, nothing
Before
further.
We go, thank you everyone for voting.
Yep,
appreciate it.
I hope that you're happy with the outcome of the world order based on your voting.
I want to say thank you to all the Southern's Patreons for their votes.
Yeah. Next time, share it on only villain site, Southern.
I know, right?
Get more votes that way. All right. So thank you both for joining me, Southern and Tim. You guys are more than welcome back. And again, Southern, if you want to come back with another with Sinestro or anyone else, we'll set that up here. Since Sinestro is a great character, and
if he would have got a different roll of the dice, like Southern with Sinestro, could have did some damage in this tournament.
Yeah, I think that if it was Sinestro versus Darth Vader instead of Superman, I think Sinestro would have won that matchup. So, all right. Well, take care, everyone. Stay tuned for the next matchup, which is episode 9. It is Shazam versus the Juggernaut. So that'll be another big, and we're talking.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
Shazam, not Captain Marvel from DC, but the Shazam from not Captain Marvel from Marvel, but the Captain Marvel from DC, the guy. So, all right, take care, everyone. See you guys next time on the Knockout. Until then, happy collecting, and we had a good time. So take it. See you guys later. Thank you for coming.